Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is evenleasesc, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the AEGIS Avenger Warlock. Let's go ahead and take a look. Taking a look here at the Avenger Warlock. Before we get started on how this variant is different from the other Avengers, I just want to get into the giveaway that ends tomorrow on the 27th at around 2 o'clock PST. Make sure if you haven't entered yet, you go down to the M50 video and you just do everything that's required to enter in for the giveaway. It's pretty simple and you get a chance to win a pretty awesome ship. So go ahead, do that if you haven't already. If not, that's totally cool too. You guys are truly just awesome. I appreciate every one of you. Now, looking at this ship here, the Avenger Warlock, I'm just going to tell you from the beginning here, this ship is no different stat-wise than its sisters, the Titan and the Stalker. They are hand-in-hand the same. So there's only subtle differences, and that's basically what's in the cargo hold area of, the back of the ship. And that's what's going to be the difference. So let's take a look at this ship here. This ship, if you were to buy it on the pledge store, it's $85. Or if you buy it in game, it's 2,249,100 aUEC. So definitely not a bad in-game price, just, given the fact that this thing does have an EMP generator on it. Yep, you heard that right, an EMP generator. So the Titan can carry 8 SCU of cargo or a very small vehicle. The Stalker is just pointless, and the Warlock has an EMP generator which allows you to potentially disable ships while you're in combat with them. So that's pretty awesome. Gotta love that. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at that here in just a second, but let's go ahead and break down all the stats of the ship. This thing has 1,800 stock DPS for the pilot. Yeah, that's a lot of DPS, and that's due to the 1 size 4 Revenant Gatling gun at the front of the ship, as well as 2 size 3 Omsky 9 laser cannons, 1 under each wing. Now you also have 2 size 2 Ignite 2 missiles, and 2 size 2 Dominator 2 missiles. So missile-wise, she's pretty light for being more or less the combat variant of the Avenger, variety of ships that you have. But it's definitely not terrible. Having 4 rockets is better than having none, and your damage output is still by far some of the best for under $100 that you can get. That's pretty awesome. Gotta love that. Now, taking a look at its defensive capabilities, this thing has 3,000 bubble shield, which is the same with all the other variants, and 11,900 health points. Now, taking a look at this ship and asking what it can do for you, it can definitely keep you alive a lot longer than a lot of other ships around this price range, or even cheaper, because it has a pretty good, decent size health pool, and the bubble shield is about average for, any ship classed as the starter or under the $100 range. That's about typically what you're going to see. So definitely not terrible. This thing can definitely take a hit before it has to evacuate the scene. And you can definitely throw a punch as well. You can knock out a few targets before you have to go anywhere. Now, taking a look at the top speed, this ship, for having such high damage per second, is probably one of the fastest ships available. It has a top speed of 260 SCM with a 610 forward boost and a 280 backwards boost, with a top nav speed of 1,425. That is truly amazing, and hopefully that never changes, but you know how balancing is. They're just going to have to find its fine line, right? It also has a quantum fuel tank of 612, so you're not going to be going too many places before you have to stop and refuel, but you're going to have to rearm that main gun anyways, probably pretty often, so not too big of a loss there. I wish it did have a bit of a bigger fuel tank, just due to the fact that you do have a living area in this ship. Now, talking about that living area, let's go ahead and take a look inside of this ship. and see what is truly different. Entering the back of the ship here, you can see there is 0 room for cargo. I mean, you could probably squeeze a few boxes in here, and there is no pointless prisoner pods that have no use at this current time. Instead, you have this amazing looking EMP generator with a little bit of like a ramp so you can step up here, and this just looks phenomenal. It looks truly just amazing. Some of the best work I've seen with the animation on an interior design thing here for such a small ship. This just screams at me like, this is cool. I feel like I'm about to go back in time or something. This looks like some sort of generator, you know, some sort of time traveling device. So that is pretty cool. Gotta love the interior and the detail. I just can't get over how cool that looks. So the Warlock does have an EMP generator. It's the Rep 8 EMP generator with a 750 meter max range. So you do have to be right up on your target for this thing to really take effect and to potentially disable it. So let's go ahead and hop into the pilot seat. By the way, speaking of the living interior, again, there's no way to access it from this room. This room is specifically and only the EMP generator. The door would be normally right here, and you'd enter into the area where you'd sleep, eat, drink, you know, do what you need to do. So we're going to go ahead and hop into the pilot seat. So before we hop into the pilot seat, I just want to let you know this ship does not have any of its components pass or its gold standard. So if you're looking around for any sort of components or gold standard, it's definitely not there. Now, getting into the cockpit, as you can see, this cockpit, it looks pretty nice. It definitely needs an update, so I can't wait to see how that goes. But it's got quite a few MFDs, and the new MFD update coming in 3.24.2 will make it look even better. Now, to get to the back, you can press and hold Y to exit your seat, or look to your right and hit the, exit seat button there. Once you do that, it'll take you behind where you'll go ahead and enter your living area. Now, you do have a nice comfortable mattress here and some storage up top, as well as your fridge area, and that's about it. Again, none of this is operating except for the bed. You can sit down, lay down, log out. This is where that door would normally be, so love how they kind of kept this in here and didn't remove it. I honestly hope they put like a weapons locker right here instead. That'd look pretty cool. So yeah, that's the interior of the Avenger Warlock. It's definitely no different than any of the other Avengers, but it's still going to be a pretty good interior once it gets its update. Let's go ahead and hop into the pilot seat, see how this thing does in a little bit of combat. Alright, now before we pull up to our target, to activate the EMP device, you do have to go into your weapons system here and go ahead and turn it on. Once you do that, you'll see it's active on the top right. Now you just hit right click to go ahead and get that thing spooling. Once it hits 100%, you can go ahead and hit the button again to release it, and hopefully, take out your targets. Alright, as you can see, this ship had no issue eliminating 3 NPC bounties, and it felt great doing it. Having that EMP generator is truly, really fun. You just gotta be kind of careful though, because if you activate it around somebody that's not involved in the fight, you could get a crime stat, or if you activate it around a friend, you could potentially watch them plummet into the planet if you're near one, just because of the fact that its EMP doesn't differentiate friends from foe, so everybody is in its path, and you got to be careful with that. Otherwise, it's really fun to use, and as a solo fighter, like hunter style ship, it's got a lot of potential for it. Now, it is missing its gold standard and its components pass. Once it gets that, I feel like this thing will be top notch, a 10 out of 10 for the profession and the range that it's in. Given that fact, and the question of what can it do for you, in Star Citizen, honestly, I prefer the Titan more rear cargo space for boxes or vehicles. That's always kind of what I prefer. But for a ship like this, where you are looking to go go into combat, it is really fun, and I think it's a great choice. Personally, this ship for me is a 7 out of 10. It does have a couple quirks, you know, the missiles, for it being the dedicated fighter. I think it would have more missiles on it, maybe throw on a couple more, 3, maybe 4 more missiles, and that's fantastic. And then also, its EM rating, for it being such a small ship, is very high. Even when you have the EMP generator completely disabled, this thing sits around 10,000, which is pretty high for, you know, any of these ships in this size range. So definitely something to consider, but yeah, you can't go wrong with any Avenger style ship. Definitely worth picking up if you haven't, or at least trying. You can actually rent this one in game too. Let me know what you think of the Avenger Warlock down in the comments below. Do you have one? Do you plan on getting one? What's the next ship you're going to get in Star Citizen, if any at all? Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.